Guys, welcome to Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Thanks for tuning in. I want to talk to the fellas for a moment, especially the single guys out there. You had better start being real careful in 2025. We've entered a new kind of danger zone, man. We have, and you got to pay attention. We got something now called Riz cams. Basically, it's where some TikTok mic jockey walks around and flirts it up with women. Okay. Now check out this one here. He thinks it's a woman, only to realize mid-convo that he's talking to a dude in makeup and with broader shoulders and half of the offensive line. Right? So check it out.
What'd you say? Yeah.
Yo, you right here. You're so... Wait. Huh?
What'd you say?
Wait, say that again?
What'd you say? Yeah.
Wait.
So guys, let me give you a little survival tip, okay? If you're trying to vet a real one, ask them maybe for a birth certificate, make sure she has already had a baby, look for signs of stretch marks, right? Maybe ask about diaper changes, lack of sleep, real badges of motherhood. because if you don't, you might get finessed by a bro in a wig, right? We're in a spiritual war, ladies and gentlemen, and it's dressing in drag. And while the culture keeps you distracted with illusion and identity confusion, something far more real is happening, right? Happening in the background. America's occupied, ladies and gentlemen. It is. And I know a lot of people aren't going to believe it or think it, but let me also give a quick heads up before we dive into this, okay? And I've been very vocal about this lately. To protect this video from being taken down and probably for the future videos and for hate speech and so on, I'll be referring to a certain group of people as a they, them. And no, I'm not talking about the blue hair TikTok brigade. I'm talking about the you-know-who's, the power brokers, the permanent class, the ones who never get voted in but somehow always stand control. And so when I say they, them, just know I'm not talking about pronouns. I'm talking about the problem, okay? A problem behind many things in this world. Now, let me show you how deep this game goes. According to public reports, nearly $2 billion in disaster relief was being conditioned on whether a state agreed to a certain foreign policy stance. This is what happened today. You see the highlight. This is not satire. This is not a conspiracy. That's a 2025 federal policy. States hit by fires, floods, hurricanes are being told, want the aid? Then you better show your allegiance. Don't challenge our partners. If your state leaders don't comply, tough luck. Your people can freeze, flood, or starve, is what they're saying. Now, that's not national leadership. That's international leverage, okay? Now, what happened was the internet caught fire today. Every major commentator on the right called it out, saying there's no way this is America first. So the agency responsible tried to walk it back. They rebranded the clauses anti-discrimination policy, claiming it's about fairness, not full foreign loyalty oaths. But the language is still there, still buried in the 2025 documents. It redefines boycotts as civil rights violation, but only for one specific set of people. You can boycott your favorite fast food joint. You can boycott American energy, but if you touch this particular foreign interest group, or foreign interest, not group, foreign interest, suddenly you're a threat. Let that sink in. Let it sink in. Now, where's our leadership right now? Well, Speaker of the House was overseas in a suit at a sacred wall, praying not for the crumbling communities in the U.S., but in a foreign land. He was with other Congress members as well. He wasn't in Kentucky, Maui, or East Palestine. He was 6,000 miles away making a symbolic pledge while domestic aid was being tied to international political positions. Check it out.
Speaker of the House of Representatives in America, we're here with a delegation of members of the House. We're so grateful to be in Israel, particularly on this day, recognizing the destruction of the two temples and 2 times in history. But it is such a moving time for us to be here at the Wailing Wall. We've offered our prayers, we put our notes into the wall as is traditional, and we're so moved by the hospitality of the people and the great love of Israel. Our prayer is that America will always stand with Israel, and that we will we pray for the preservation and the peace of Jerusalem. That's what Scripture tells us to do. It's a matter of faith for us and a commitment that we have. God bless you.
A lot of Christians say that, and I'm going to discuss that later because I've seen it myself even in last night's comments. But anyway, this is a Christian, confessed Christian. He's over there practicing another religion. It's crazy. We didn't. If you ask a Christian, would they wear Buddhist beads or anything else? Would they pray on a rug of Islam? They wouldn't do it, but they'll put that thing on their head. We didn't elect a foreign affairs ambassador. We elected a Speaker of the House. Right now, talk about Trump for a minute. Trump in 2016, he ran as a wrecking ball for the global control. He talked tough on entanglements, endless wars, and backroom deals. But in 2025, we have a new version of him. He's green-lighting aid package deals tied to policy tests. He's rubbing elbows with billionaires connected to overseas groups. And he's watching as his own supporters in Congress, guys like Thomas Massie, get targeted by mega donors because they won't play the script. It's not America first anymore. It's somewhere else first. And if you question it, you're labeled a fringe, dangerous, disloyal. Nah, I say you're just paying attention. You're just paying attention. Well, you want to know how deep this goes? Let me put it up here. How deep does it go? It goes fairly deep, ladies and gentlemen. Because these leaders aren't loyal to the flag anymore or their lapel pin. They're loyal to the money, the leverage, the compromise. Even foreign heads of state have publicly warned Trump. Don't forget who has your old files. Look at that. Medvedev. Trump shouldn't think the video archive of his past immoralities is only in Mossad's hands. So they're threatening to blackmail him. Just like with the Epstein tapes. Epstein was doing. Let that hit. It's not a political jab. That is a blackmail threat on a freaking global stage to a president of the United States. So if you ask yourself, right, if a man can be played like that, someone of the stature of Donald Trump, and Medvedev being a big mouthpiece of Russia, threatening this, what do you think this means? You're being told what to fund, who to fear, and you're not allowed to criticize anyone, right? So I would say that's not freedom at all. That's an occupation by interests that don't wear the same flag as you. Okay. Let it make it make sense, you know? Yep. No, I was not. That's not the one. Yeah, he told him to F around and find out. So anyway, ever wonder why this goes into a lot of commentary I saw last night, backlash. You ever wonder why so many churches in America care more about foreign policy, group, they, them, than local poverty, while some pastors wave 2 flags in their Sunday morning service? It traces back to a single book, right, that was annotated. It was something called the Schofield Reference Bible. It was an annotated version of the Bible from 1909. It took a King James text and added a flood of commentary, not scripture, just notes written by a convicted fraud, published by elites and funded by special interest groups. These notes reshaped American theology to say, support this one nation or face divine punishment. Middle East war prophecy. Don't question the foreign agenda or because God wills it. This wasn't religion. This was infiltration. The church was rewired to see foreign intervention as holy duty, while local communities will fall apart. Right? The same playbook, if you don't know, and I want you to Google I can't even say the things in the Scofield Bible, just Google it and look at it and see what they did and why you hear people reference Genesis 12:8 incorrectly constantly. Okay. But this was funded by a certain group of people. I can't even say that name either. Like kind of like similar to the Roth IRA, that group of people. They are the ones who funded this Scofield Bible and pushed it and so on, right? Because they were pushing a certain interest, and they knew that religion was such a strong play. People bow for religion. Man, people flew down with Jim Jones and drank Kool-Aid because of ideology, man. So anyway, and sorry I'm having to use so many words, but my videos have been getting eaten alive, but you know what I'm saying. The same playbook was used in Latin America, if you didn't know, during the Cold War. Weaponized religion to serve the state. In the 50s and 60s, U.S. intelligence agencies partnered with clergy to push anti-communist agendas, to prop up friendly regimes and neutralize dissent. Now, this actually came to light, and I spoke about this in the JFK, when the JFK files were released. This is what came out, right? They used it in churches, sermons, and pulpits. They don't need to drop bombs when they can drop belief systems, okay? They don't have to. The same thing happened here in the U.S. around that time, 1948. Foreign-focused doctrine replaced Christ-centered teachings. It was pushed through seminaries, funded by billionaires, and sanctified by power brokers. Right? Pastors stop preaching about Christ and start preaching about contracts, covenants, and war. Oh, we need to defend this country no matter what. What about America? What about our own country? What's happening here? Right? You have to ask yourself. And the thing is, let's bring it back to today, man. Who's really in charge? Trump's closest economic allies, not the populists, not the nationalists. It's guys like Larry Fink, if you didn't know. You know who Larry Fink is? BlackRock, head of BlackRock. I'm not even kidding. A man who manages $10 million in global assets, sits at the top of every major economic institution, and now has Trump's ear in the White House. Right? Back in March 2025, Fink called Trump directly to secure approval for the multi-billion-dollar international infrastructure deal. Okay? To secure approval for multi-billion infrastructure deal. Okay? And he got it. You think that's rebellion? That's the system reinforcing itself. That's why when Trump was talking about the Panama situation, he was talking about the deal he was coming with Larry Fink. Guess who Larry Fink's group he's part of? Yes. Full circle. And let's talk about my state for a minute, just sidetrack. State politics. Nancy Mace came out saying that she was running for governor today. A lot of patriots are going to say, yes. The media wants to paint her as a conservative firebrand. But this is the same woman who defended Liz Cheney during GOP infighting. Yes, she did. But people have the memory of a goldfish. They forget. Right? She opposed core fiscal reform bills to cut the debt, to stop the debt ceiling. She took middle ground on abortion. And then the worst of it all from my state, the Citadel. She broke the gates of the Citadel, South Carolina's most historic male military academy, by becoming its first female graduate. Right? Some call it progress. But ask anyone who served under that legacy, it wasn't about equality. It was about a rebranding of a warrior institution into a political experiment. So say what you want. She was one of the first feminists to break through, right? To break through. So, and she touts it all the time. I went to the first woman to graduate at Citadel. Now she wants to lead the state that once stood for honor and tradition. No. I know Alan Wilson's running the attorney general. I think Trump will back him. Alan Wilson's the hardline guy. He's been hardline on everything, immigration, you name it. So anyway. But I also want to mention too, my video from last night. It's funny, this video came out with Alex Jones. He's sitting with Ian Carroll. I don't know what they're doing. They're in like some spring or something. That's why they're in shorts, no shirts on. I will say, Alex Jones does look like he's getting in great, hard to kill shape. Check him out. And he's talking about the same thing I talked about last night.
Clearly a psyop the last 4 or 5 years of all these whistleblowers putting out all sorts of disinformation about UFOs, saying all these obvious human-made craft are really aliens. You know, when Biden was in so much trouble the last few months of the race, Kamala come in, they did a whole UFO scare. That was just human craft all over the place. They got some of this secret stuff going around. Remember, Trump said we control time and space now. They do have anti-grav, all that. So obviously there's stuff all over the universe, but if you go back to the Apollo programs, the rest of it, there's all the film footage and stuff that they don't put a lot on TV of the astronauts showing craft following them and stuff. So, and there's shots from satellites out there. There's things flying all over the planet, and the Tic Tacs and all the rest of it in the 70s and 80s before, you know, we think humans were able to develop that anti-grav and get it deployed. So you understand, you've got Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and then it goes out into the gas giants. You got Pluto that was the 9th planet, but once they found out there were hundreds and hundreds of things bigger than Pluto out there, and thousands and thousands of large objects in the Kuiper belt that goes out from the solar system and the gravity of the sun, then you've got all sorts of stuff that's coming through space and also on other orbits like comets that aren't on the same trajectory. So they can aim with their radio telescopes, get these scans of these things, and create all sorts of fear. And they can aim out in the Kuiper belt and say, "Oh, look at this thing! It looks like a spaceship." But there's tens of thousands of these objects, thousands, which are gigantic, and a whole bunch bigger than Pluto. But see, those aren't moving on an unusual orbit, so it's not as scary because it's not coming close to us. So they're doing this instead of these type of orbits. So there's 100% a plan to hype up alien invasion and to have that to kind of unify world government. That's one of the things the UN and the globalists have said since the 70s. We'll use a fake UFO invasion to take control and get a world government, or we'll use viruses to do it.
So pretty much a lot of what I said last night, if you didn't watch that video last night, I highly recommend it. Okay. But yeah, scary times. A lot of people who believed, oh, America's getting back. Nah, not happening. It's gonna get worse before it gets worse. And this is just a fact of the matter. Now, before I jump off, I do want to say that you want to know what it all boils down to. It boils down to mental toughness, discipline, and conviction. It's why I made this hard to kill shirt. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool shirt. But I made it to be a reminder when you look at it, when you wear it. Okay. I wasn't born tough. I was small, was quiet, overlooked, just another kid no one expected much from. But I went through a very hard time after the Marine Corps. It was broken. But I realized in that moment that no one was coming. I trained in silence. I'd work in the middle of the night. I'd go to the gym, train by myself. Nobody to cheer me on, nobody there. Bought a lot of books, studied alone. I got up when I didn't want to. I kept pushing when no one cared. And that's mindset. It's what makes you dangerous. You don't earn hard to kill when the sun's out and the gym's empty, and you earn it on bad days, when you're broke, tired, alone, when showing up hurts, but you do it anyway. So now, wearing this shirt, when I wear it, it's not just branding. It's a freaking war cry. It's a reminder that no one's coming to save you. And that's exactly why you have to become the one who can't be stopped. Okay. That's why I put it up. I made it for that reason. And as a reminder, there's a few left, but again, like in the hardest, darkest times, man, it's not the hard to kill mindset is a mindset. It's not about being strong, jacked, a dangerous guy. I mean, all that's important, but it starts here in your mind, because when you're down and out, you don't have cheerleaders cheering you on. You're by yourself. No one's coming. You have to do it alone. And a lot of times people find themselves in this position and they want to quit, right? Work's going to hell. Maybe relationships suck. You know, you're having problems at home. That's whenever this mindset has to take over. Living stoic, keep moving, one foot in front of the other. See, a lot of people, when they have bad days, they just give up. On the bad days, you stay with the plan, you keep going, keep building. And because everybody else quits, that's what makes you hard to kill. That's what elevates you as a human and a person. And you just destroy the game. So it's why I made this shirt. Thanks, Aline. Appreciate your support. But I want you to have that mindset. It's not about a shirt. Obviously, I made the shirt, and I plan to make more shirts with this mindset philosophy, because it's important to wear. Because when you wear it, you feel hard to kill. And that's the whole. When the inception of Black Scout, that was the mindset. It's not just about wilderness survival. It's not just about shooting. It's about your family, your finances, your faith, your survival skills, your combatives. It's everything wrapped into one. Being able to survive any situation and come out on top. Losers love to blame their circumstance on everything else. Winners make their circumstance. Anyway, guys, go grab one. As I said, we only have a few left, and I will put out, more with that mindset stuff, guys. I do appreciate you hanging out with me. I want to know your thoughts, obviously, on all this stuff. And go just Google the Scofield Bible. Just read about it and let me know. Let me know in the comments. Stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care, guys.
2, 3. 1, 2.